Another episode of the Coming Soon podcast with sPidA.
Hello, everybody. sPidA here once again. Coming Soon podcast coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, with my guest out of Louisiana, my man Joseph Poliquin. My man, how are you, dude?
How's it going? I'm doing good.
Man, and of course, man. I appreciate your time. I mentioned earlier, thank you for jumping on this. And I take it you're at home right now, giving us a little tour of the home.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for a quiet spot. My kids are playing Fortnite right now, and it's raining outside, so it's kind of hard to get a quiet spot here.
No, not a problem, man. But like I mentioned, bro, thank you for jumping on this. And of course, man, I've got questions for you, man. Right off the bat, bro. The last name, I asked you how to pronounce that because it's something I haven't heard or seen before. So tell us, where does that come from, man? What's your ethnicity?
Yeah, well, I am Filipino American. My grandma on my dad's side is Filipino. My grandma on my mom's side is Native American. And the name itself, though, comes from my dad's dad, which is a Canadian French name. And then they landed in Louisiana. So I have a Cajun name, but I'm Filipino Native American.
Man, that's definitely unique, bro. I know. Let me say this because I was a postal employee 15 years. When I worked at the main post office, my last name Garay, and there were some Filipinos that worked there, and they were like Garay. They're like Filipino, and I said, Nah, man. I said, and they're like, Yeah, Garay, real big in the Philippines, and it was news to me, and I told you earlier, I do network a lot, man, and for some reason I do get a lot of hits in the Philippines, ironically. So we'll see, man. That'd be pretty cool.
That's cool.
But man, let me ask you. Of course, when it comes to your, I guess not so much history, but like when coming through the arts, you started as a musician, man. Tell us about how that came about.
Yeah, my mom and my stepdad used to fight a lot, and so whenever I was really young, I started just jamming out on the piano to just kind of, quiet my brain a little bit and get me out of that place. And whenever I became 16, it's kind of hard to carry a piano around everywhere you go, so I started learning guitar, and my aunt got me a guitar, and the rest is history.
Yeah, bro. So of course it started. But let me ask you. That's kind of cool in a way. Not the fact that the parents were bickering, because I grew up with that same thing too, man. But I used to skateboard, man. So I used to take off on my skateboard and come back, when everybody was asleep. But the fact that you were able to kind of transcend and go through music, man, for as far as emotions, something we don't want to hear is our parents, yelling or arguing for that matter. But the fact that you were able to escape and mentally and go into music, that's pretty much being an artist, right? That's that's like an outlet.
Yeah, definitely is.
Man, as far as influence, what kind of music do you listen to, man, on the regular?
Mainly it's like Deftones, Incubus, Coheed and Cambria, Highly Suspect, Royal Blood, Weezer, stuff like that. Seosin, Circus Survive, pretty much anything, anything that rocks.
And then because you are you are involved in music. Was that kind of like the heavily influenced? Some of the music that you listen to.
Yeah, I don't think that the music that I write sounds a lot like those bands, but I will listen to those bands like on repeat before I go to start writing music.
Okay, and let me ask you. On that note, what do you think that is, man? Because obviously, we, when it comes to being a musician, of course, there's a lot of influence, whether it's music, movies, life. There's a lot of things that inspire you. But what do you think that is? Is it something in the tone? Is it something on the, the writing and the song that inspires you?
I like the way those vocalists don't sound like everyone else. The lyrics they write are about something otherworldly, and the music just seems to collaborate with their voice so well, and it just gives you this eerie, like, ambient feeling that you can like just keep listening to it over and over. It doesn't have to be something that's overplayed. Like all of those bands I named, I can listen to on repeat and never get tired of it.
Nice, bro. No, yeah, and I agree, man. One of the things, you yourself skateboard, right? So,
Yeah.
I guess you can agree, back when or even now, we can find a curb and we'll be there for like 2-3 hours, man. It's something about just controlling and overpowering that curb that we get a little high on, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as the skateboard,
I
man, I
can
mean,
feel that.
since we're in that subject, what do you skate, bro?
Right now I'm skating a Tickle Me Not board. They sponsored me after Skate to Hell. They saw me in the movie, saw me in the trailer, and apparently they have a piece of like some Tickle Me Not skateboards are actually in the movie, and the owner of Tickle Me Not, he's in the movie too. So when he saw me skating in the trailer, he was like, "Man, he's like, can I send you some? You skate for our skate team?" I'm like,
Nice, bro. Damn. Well, that's I mean, I'm sure it took you a few years to get a sponsor like that, man. But I mean, ironically, it came through a movie, so that's still pretty cool.
right? Yeah, it's one of the coolest things ever. It's my first starring lead role. I've
Yeah,
had like a supporting lead role in a couple movies. This is my first starring lead role, and the cast is incredible, man.
yes, bro. No,
And
yeah,
it's
like I
cool
mentioned earlier
about it.
too, man, because I jumped on a perk. I mean, Skate to Hell. As soon as I saw that, I mean, Phillips, dude, I love his writing. I love his movies. Something about that, I was like, man. I mean, that was pretty dope. That I had to jump on it myself. But I mean, the fact that you were actually in the film and be able to work with a lot of great people, which you've been doing. So let me ask you. I mean, is that a norm? I mean, being in music and I mean, is it like playing for your favorite band and you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm just filling in.
Not really. I think a lot of people they get into the industry thinking like they want fame or they want fortune or they want something like that, and that's kind of where you get stuck. It's like a stalemate, right? Like if you're looking for fame or fortune, you might never find that. Like that's stuff you can't just grab and take for yourself. But if you're looking for success and you're looking to be a great actor or a great skater or a great musician, you can do that. You don't need permission to do that. You don't need anyone else to. There's no. Sorry, it just scrolled away because I'm getting
No, no, you're
rained.
good.
So, there's no technique to be- becoming successful. Like, really, it's like everyone's got their own way of finding success. And if you find your niche and you're like, oh, this is what I'm good at, I'm good at this thing, let me become really good at it, then everything else will follow, Like, you'll get that income or you'll get that notoriety or that respect. So if you're looking just to be like, I want to be the most famous person, I want to be the most well known person out there, you probably won't ever find it because you're looking for the wrong reasons.
No, no, I agree, man. I mean, I won't even mention names when it comes to people that go viral because they happen to be the wrong place at the wrong time. I like to think because I mean they do hit big and they become a meme and they're
Yeah.
famous for a few seconds. Which is each their own, man. I mean, a lot of people do capitalize on it and they make what they can. But I was told one time they were like, man, would you rather be someone that goes viral or would you rather land something that's gonna like last longer, man? And of course, you wanna be up there for a minute, more than a minute.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Man. But let me ask you, bro, because of course, skateboarding, man. I mean, how long have you been skateboarding, man? Was this something you started as a kid?
Yeah, I was skating since I was about 15.
Okay.
The year before I started playing guitar, my uncle is an amazing skater, and I had no idea. So I was like 15 years old, and he came over one day, and a kid from down the street had just built a half pipe in his backyard, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Man, I'm skating now." And my uncle got on the board and started doing some of the most amazing tricks that any of these kids have ever seen. So all the neighborhood kids are freaking out about my uncle, just like doing 1,200 spins and stuff like that.
Damn.
And
Yeah.
he taught me Primo Remo 360 flip that day and stuff. So it was like I got on that board and I did a Primo 360 flip on my first day and was like, oh man, I might be meant to do this.
Damn. Okay. Sweet, man. Well, dude, I mean, that's I told people, I mean, I still skateboard. And I'm still as bad as I was in the '80s. I didn't improve too much, but I do prefer street over ramp, bro. I mean, I'm not. I did a drop in on one freaking dude. It must have been like a 10 footer. I mean, back then it seemed like 100 feet, right? But
Yeah.
right on my ass, bro. I just freaking my board went up. I landed, and after that, I was like, man, I'm gonna go hit the curb. I went back to the street skating, man.
Street skating's awesome, man. It's all dangerous though. You can do vert. To believe it or not, vert. I feel like vert's a little. It's a little easier. I'm not gonna say easier. Tony Hawk would be pissed off. I'm not gonna say easier. I'm gonna say it's a little safer, I think, because when you're doing street skating, none of that is regulation. None of it's meant to like catch your fall. It's
Yeah.
not meant for a skateboarder to be up there. So when you watch out. No, no. Watch out. Sorry, my son's coming out here.
No,
When
no,
you do
you're good. You're good.
street skating, nothing you do is meant. Hold on a second. Hold on. Nothing you do in street skating is meant to be skated. So like you'll see a curb and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try this thing that's probably dangerous, you know. And so when I get injured, it's always street skating. If I'm skating vert, I've learned that like falling on vert doesn't hurt as bad, you know. Like they invented those things for you to skate on. So when you
Yeah.
fall, you just kind of roll down them, you know.
No, yeah, it's still frightening as hell, man. I think I was like probably
Yeah.
15 when I did that, you know. But I mean, for me, it's just I never got back on it. You know, my friends used to build quarter pies volcanoes, and they were freaking magicians on those damn things, man. I could never dominate it, dude. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go hit that curb, railings, you know. I mean, just anything that I felt safe on, you know. But each their own, man. I mean, some of you guys were able to capitalize and get on bigger things, so that's pretty cool. Man, of course, you know, when it comes to music, man, I mean, you transitioned. Would you say it was an easy transition going from music to film?
Yeah, I don't even think it's a transition much, you know. Music taught me how to entertain on stage in front of people I've never met. And when you are acting in a film, love you too. When you're that's my son. When you're acting in a film, you're in front of people you've never met on set, right? And you have to bring 100% of your energy and not be embarrassed, not be worried about what some stranger you never met is going to say or think. You know, because people have opinions, and there's plenty of times where immature people are on set
Oh
somehow on set and they want to chime in whenever an actor's in the middle of a take, and then they get kicked off the set. So that
yeah.
happens. But I learned that would be possible, being on stage and having people like heckle you on stage. So I think playing music, it taught me how to project my voice. It taught me how to be entertaining. It taught me how to not get bored and always, have that energy. So I don't know. I think if it wasn't for playing music first, I probably wouldn't have been the actor I am today.
No, no, for sure, man. And I mean, the projects you've been in, because you've been in quite a few. I mean, like you mentioned, your lead role. I mean, was that when that was offered, or when it came up to the table? Um, were you nervous? Were you scared? I mean, what was your emotions going through that when you decided to jump on that?
Oh man! So somebody tagged me in whenever they released the poster for the movie. Someone tagged me in it and said, "You got to pick Joseph Poliquin." Like they said that they're like, "You got to pick." So I was like, I saw the tag and I saw the poster, and I was like, "Whoa, this looks awesome!" Sean C. Phillips. I'm gonna go look this guy up. So I looked him up, and I saw that the movie he had right before that was Desert Fiends with Tom Arnold and Lorelai Linklater and Spencer Breslin. So I was like, okay, I'm sold. This guy's a filmmaker, and he's got a great cast on his last movie. So I hit him up, and I said, "Hey, I just did Five Nights at Freddy's. I played Carl in the movie. Here's my skateboarding demo reel. I hope you still need a skateboarder for your movie." And he came back and he said, "Joseph, I loved Five Nights at Freddy's. Have you seen the poster? It looks like you on the poster." And I zoomed
No.
in the poster, and it looks like me. It looks like the side of my face and my hair and everything, dude. And I was like, "It really does look like me." He goes, "How would you like the lead role in the movie?" I was like, "Done. Count me in."
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about that. So the poster was before you even jumped on there. Dude, that's crazy, man. Wow. Wow.
It's
Okay.
like they manifested me.
There you go. No, I mean, especially who was it that tagged you, man? I mean, have you thanked him already?
To be honest, was a fan, and I don't remember who it was that tagged me. I feel
Oh
bad.
man.
Like I get tagged by people all the time, so I
Oh
was
yeah.
just going through my tags that day, and I just saw that one tag, and it just happened to like kind of stick out. I was like, "Whoa, the skateboarding thing! Whoa!" And it's a skateboarder who's fighting demons in hell. I mean, that's it.
No, no, you see, and I mean exactly that. When I read that, I was like, man, I'm real. I grew up in the '80s, man. So of course, horror comedies. The cheesier the better, bro. And I mean, when I saw that, I was like, man, I was like right up my alley, bro. I was just like, damn, And, funny enough, I was just like, hey, you need a skate demo, because I did one for a film here in South Texas, man, and then it never became, they never made it, or the guy just stopped filming. But
Yeah,
I just landed a few tricks and I sent him the reel, and he's like, yeah, dude, I'll use them on there, So I said, all right, cool, man. That'll be my gloat moment.
yeah.
But man, but of course, I mean, when you decided to start filming, as far as management, was that something that you jumped on real quick?
With
Like to get a manager to help you start getting into films?
from when I first started getting in, no, I didn't know anyone. My health took a hit. I started having some health issues, and it got me thinking, like, life isn't forever, life's temporary. Why are we wasting time when there's things we really want to be doing with our life? There's things we dream about. There's things that I grew up wanting to be an actor. I grew up wanting to be a skater, an artist, a musician. So if I have all of my irons on a fire, one of them's going to get hot. I knew that. So I was like, okay, film came up because I was in the mall one day and I just dropped out of college because my college was closing down. I just lost my job as a mechanic, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And this guy I knew had become a PA on film companies, and he saw me in the mall and he stopped. He goes, Joe, what's up, man? It's been a second. And I was like, yeah, how you doing? He's like, actually, I'm passing out these flyers because we're looking for extras for a movie. And I was like, okay, well, yeah. So I became an extra, and it pays really well. Anyone listening, if you don't think that you have the chops to act, go be an extra. You can be on set, get fed free twice a day, and you get paid $200 a day. So, I mean, like, that's the best job I'd ever had. I mean, to be honest, being an extra was the best job I'd ever had. So I kept doing it, and I did it for a couple of years, but I ended up getting on American Horror Story, and I became friends with the director of American Horror Story and Evan Peters. And Evan Peters was like, man, I really think you have a shot. He's like, you should really go for it, man. He's like, you should do it. I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know where to start. He goes, just go and look for auditions online. Google auditions. Go find a photographer, get headshots, and start sending those into talent agents and see if anybody picks up. So I did what he said. I got headshots. I sent my resume in to like 120 different places, and no one wanted me. So I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to start looking for auditions myself. And I found an audition online for a lead role. It was a second build lead role in a sci-fi movie. And I got the part. And I didn't have an agent or anything. But when I went to Virginia to film it, they wanted it was the same people that did Sharknado. So they wanted it to be corny. They wanted it to be really stupid, right? Yeah. But I'd never done a movie yet. And I'd seen Sharknado. So I was like, okay, look, if I'm the second build lead, I'm going to talk to the main lead. Me and her started talking. We were like, okay, look, we could do this corny like they want, right? Yeah. We could do what they want. Or we could realize that we have a career that we have to worry about. So they want corny. Let's give them the best acting they've ever seen in a sci-fi movie. Let's give them like energy. Let's give them comedy. Let's give them everything they need for this movie to not suck, right? Yeah. So we just did every day on set. We just did like 110%. We like threw in like lines that we were thinking about, more acting than they asked for, and the director was really happy. The producer wasn't. The producer was like, no. Because if they bomb a film, if the producer makes a bomb film that's bad and terrible, the more bad it is, the more famous it's going to be, they think, because of Sharknado, right? So the producer's like, this is not what we wanted. We wanted this thing to be corny. And the director's like, just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. We might be onto something. That became Sci-Fi's most played movie for like 3 years straight. They played it every week. And then Netflix picked it up. So I was able to say that I had a lead role on Netflix. So that helped me get an agent. Yep. My agent had just booked somebody on the main cast of Stranger Things. They were on Stranger Things season 1 and 2. And so my agent's like, you look perfect for Stranger Things. I'm going to sign you. And she signed with me. But, I got a few auditions for Stranger Things, but they never picked me. I had a callback. I was up for Eddie for Stranger Things.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And he actually did some of the stuff that I did in my audition in the show, and I was like, no fucking way. I was like, all right. And I could have quit. I could have been like, man, I had that part and I lost it. Man, what am I doing, right? But instead, I thought, I got to be getting somewhere with this. I was like, I've got to be. If they thought for me to be Eddie in Stranger Things, I've got to be getting somewhere with this somehow. And I just kept pushing forward. One day, my agent gets an audition in. She says, I have this audition, but it's kind of goofy. I don't know if you want it. I was like, what is it for? She goes, it's for something about an animatronic cupcake and a big animatronic bird, and I don't know, and an animatronic stuffed bear or something. And I went, wait, Five Nights at Freddy's? I was like, no way did you get an audition for me for Five Nights at Freddy's. Are you serious? So knowing the game, knowing the folklore, knowing how many fans there are out there, I didn't want to lose that audition. I was like, I have to do this the best I can do it. I have to get this part. I was like, I have to. Yep.
Man, no pressure, right? I mean, of course, right. You have to go in there. But let me ask you, I mean, you mentioned earlier, being in music and, of course, being able to entertain and I guess not so much get nervous. I mean, when you got in there, I mean, was that it? I mean, were you kind of like, okay, this is my audience. Let me go ahead and perform.
With music or with film?
When you got into the Five Nights at Freddy?
Oh, well, I mean, by the time I'd done 5 nights, I had probably done 25 movies by then. Like
Okay,
so
okay.
I did Greyhound with Tom Hanks for 3 months,
Yeah,
and Tom Hanks taught me 90% of the techniques that I use in acting,
nice.
and I did All My Life, which was my first time being Oscar like eligible, and like we were
Wow.
on the Oscar eligibility list on the first page, so that was really cool. But all this kind of trained me, but 5 nights was different, man, because 5 nights they filmed. I did 4 scenes, 4 or 5 scenes that didn't even make the film, and I had
Oh,
all these lines that didn't make the film, and like they cut everything except for one line. But it was nuts because there've been like parts in movies with way more lines and people just forget the character.
yeah.
This character had one line after everything else was cut, and I can't tell you how many times people have come up to me and been like, You're my favorite character in the film," and I don't know how that's possible. Like I'm like,
You're like,
with
I
one,
got one line, man.
one line, all right. But I mean, I love
Really?
that though. I like Ernest.
Yeah.
Ernest goes to jail. Ernest goes to Hollywood. I
Oh yeah.
like yeah, I love Mr. Bean. I love Jane Silent Bob. I love the Three Stooges. So I love who else? Charlie Chaplin. I love
Yeah.
silent acting. I think if you can convince people of the emotions that you're portraying without having to say much, it's cool. So it used
That's
to be
true.
actors, we always like, oh, we want more lines, we want more lines. But now that's not what matters. Now they've changed the laws, they've changed the way we get, royalties from things. So now, as long as you are an important character on the cast, then you're going to be taken care of. It kind
Nice.
of sucks though, because I have some friends who have many, many lines, and I feel like they should have been paid more than I was. I'm like, you guys should have been paid more than me. You got way more lines, but they're like, oh, I don't know, your character is more fun. I'm like, it's weird. A
Yeah.
movie's not, a movie's not a movie with one person in it. So like, where
Right.
I play a goofy, fun character, someone else plays like that, emotionally gripping character, and someone else plays that, attractive character, and someone else plays the scary character. You have to have a whole team of actors. You have to have a whole team of people. So nothing I do is because of my own work. It's because people like me and they agree that I would help their production. So
No.
I owe it all to other people who wrote these things.
No, for sure, man. And of course, I mean, you mentioned earlier. I mean, as being an actor, I mean, you learned a lot through other actors, of course, that have been there for for way longer. You yourself, I think I had seen a post where you actually do you help in acting, right? You did some teaching classes,
Yes, I teach acting classes.
and
I actually
how do you go about doing that?
you can take them solo. You can take them one on one over Discord, or you can join us on Discord with our group classes every Thursday,
Oh,
and
no.
you can have like 6 other actors or 10 other actors to act with. I pair people up. They go home every week. They take the sides home. They practice them, and then they come back and they get to act with people in the class. So I think it's important because you can't learn how to act without acting. You
Yeah.
can't just sit there and watch other people act. You can't read acting books. I've read tons of acting books, and a lot of them I don't even agree with now. So like there's a lot of stuff you can't learn unless you actually physically do it. So you either take an acting class, take an improv group, join a group, form a group with your friends, some way. As long as you are acting, you're reading things off of a page, memorizing it, and then bringing it to life emotionally, then you were actually working out. It's like exercising. You can't gain muscle just by watching people exercise. You got to do it
No,
yourself.
that's a good one, man. I like that. No, and that's true, man. Because a lot of times when it comes to acting, a lot of it is body language, like you mentioned earlier. If it's a silent film and you're just standing there stiff, people aren't gonna know what you're trying to say or do. But if you're out there throwing your hands up and making gestures, of course, people are gonna be like, okay, yeah, this guy's doing something, right, or trying to tell a story. But that's true, man. Makes sense, man. I mean, I'm gonna use that. You can't, see other people work out and build muscle, man. So that's gonna be my go-to after this. But man, I mean, of course, when it comes to lessons, I mean, is this something that you still do yourself? Obviously, with these classes, I mean, you jump into yourself and keep honing your skills.
I mean, to be honest, by teaching the class, it is helping me as well,
Yeah,
just like as everyone else. It's like forming an acting gym. I go over things every time, every class. Like we have
right.
one class a week. You can pay $100 first month, $50 every month after that, because I want to make sure people want to actually invest in themselves, but keep coming back. So I cut the price in half for anybody who returns.
Nice.
Um, but you can take it. It's one a week, and it keeps you on your toes. It gives you something to learn every week. It gives you something to practice every week. So if you're not getting auditions all the time, at least you are continually bettering yourself. So when the auditions come, you're ready just like any other actor would be. For instance, I could go on set today or go on set next week with a production I'm doing, and then I could end up learning something insane that I never knew, that I would have never known unless I had that job. And then I can bring it back to the actors who haven't booked work yet, or who have booked work, or just want to exercise their acting muscle, and I can teach them what I learned, so they don't have to go through the same issues. A good example is people assume that directors are constantly directing you. But if there are 5 people in the scene, they're going to direct the main actors first. And if you're coming in that scene and you're not one of the main actors of the movie and it's like one of your first gigs, you could lose your whole career if you do it wrong. But there are moments in my career where I've run into these roadblocks and I've gone, man, if I would have known what I've known today, that whole day would have been easier. So that's what I teach my actors. I don't just teach them like, oh, this is how you get headshots or this is how you act. Most of my actors have watched movies. They get it. You act by pretending, they get it.
Right.
But I like to teach them what to do to get prepared when you inevitably start booking. Because there are so many productions and so many people need it that if you apply yourself and you become an actor and you actually keep auditioning, to be honest, you may not always book the biggest things in the world, but depending on what you want, you can manifest something awesome in your life. My first actor I took on, because I also manage actors. After they come to my class, if I see somebody that has talent, I manage them, pro bono, just try to help them out and get them kickstarted. Because to be honest, I'd like to see somebody become the next Brad Pitt and then go, yeah, I thank Joe for giving me advice in his acting classes. But there's one actor, and he went on hiatus because he just had a baby. But dude said, hey, I want to be an actor. Can you help me? I said, yeah, let me manage you. Within a week, he booked 5 auditions and booked a role without an audition. Just because people were like, oh, your manager is the guy from Five Nights at Freddy's? Sure, we'll book you. And I'm like, man, I wish that would work with me. Like, my managers have to do the work. I can't do it for myself, but I can do the work for other actors. It's really weird. It's people don't like to get emails from the actor because they don't believe you. If I say, hey, this is Joe from Five Nights at Freddy's, they're like, yeah, right. If you were Five Nights at Freddy's, you'd be too busy to yourself. No, that's really me, but hold on. Right? Get somebody else to do it. Hey, I represent Joe from Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, yeah, I believe you.
No, for sure, man, and that's true, man. Because I myself, I mean, I do a lot of I have a podcast for combat sports as well, and I asked you earlier as far as if you watched like MMA, but I have worked with fighters for years. I mean, a lot of these fighters, like from here, San Antonio, Texas, and the same thing with them. Trying to find them fights. Going through matchmakers, going through the bigger shows, and just being well, they're busy training and doing what they got to do. I'm over here doing all the footwork, man. But it's true, man. I mean, you get to know people after a while. Myself. I was the guy that everybody came to here in Texas for information. Like, hey, we need a fighter. Hey, we need this. Hey, we need. And I'm like, yeah, I got him. I got you. I got this guy. I got. So it's an important job, man. I mean, managing people. I mean, how much on top of on your table, dude? Because obviously you got quite a few things going on. But I mean, it's just. There's something else. I mean, but obviously there's something you love to do, right? Manage people.
I mean, like I said, life's temporary, right? So if you don't invest a little bit of your knowledge into the future generations, you're wasting your knowledge. You can't keep it to yourself. You can't take it with you when you go. You got to share it. It's kind of like, the human condition. You learn something, but it's not really useful until you teach someone else. So the way I see it, I can help other people, and they can go on and outlive me, and then they can share knowledge that I've shared with them way after I'm gone.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I like that, bro. Because I mean, I just turned 50 last week, man, and everybody was like, "Oh, man, how do you feel?" And I'm like, "Dude, I feel good, man. I'm no ailments. I'm not beat up too bad, but yeah, it's just my kids were grown out of the house, and I was thinking like, man, this is my time. This is what I'm trying to do. Jumping in local films here. I mean, just trying to put my 2 cents. Not so much. I mean, not I don't know if I want to make something out of it. I definitely want to be involved. Even like producers and directors. I'm like, even if if I get to do a lot of behind the scenes shots or just coverage, I'm good with that. But Yeah, man. They give me a line, give me a role, man. I'll jump on it. You know, it's like I'm not taking anything for granted. That's for sure, man.
I feel that. I feel that.
And let me ask you, bro. I mean, of course, when it comes to acting, I mean, music. Are you still involved with music? I mean, do you kind of go back and forth?
Well, yeah, I guess it's almost copacetic, you know, like I'm always writing music and I'm always playing music. If I'm on set of a movie, there's usually a guitar in my trailer somewhere, you know. So like I'm always writing, and I'm actually getting in the studio tomorrow. The same guy that owns the skateboarding company that signed me, we started talking. Turns out he owns a record label as well, and so he
Dude,
some studio time, and I'm getting in the studio tomorrow, and probably gonna put out the best song I've written so far.
nice, bro, man. But I'm happy that everything's aligning for you, man. Because I mean, a lot of times, I mean, when it comes to opportunities, bro. Because obviously, if you wouldn't have had gotten that lead role, you would have never met that guy. You would have never gotten that. You know what I mean? So it's just, I mean, but the fact that everything's happening, dude. I mean, that's pretty exciting, man.
Thank you, thank you.
And of course, man. I mean, when it comes to writing, I mean, you write music, but I mean, do you also write scripts?
I do. I just did a movie, or I wrote it 10 years ago, and I finally got it going, and I am so excited to talk about this on a podcast. To be honest, thank you for asking.
Sweet.
We started our Indiegogo, but we're not doing this like other people's Indiegogo. Our Indiegogo is not to fund the movie. I'm paying for the movie myself, and I'm
Right.
looking for producers who want to invest in the budget if they would like, because this movie is amazing. Multiple cast members, three cast members from Skate to Hell, three of the leads, the biggest three leads, I'll just say that, of Skate to Hell, are in this movie with me. We can't go publicly yet about the cast. We're gonna go publicly very soon,
Sweet,
but
man.
I have some like special cast members and special like my director of photography, my director himself. People in this movie are gonna blow your mind. They're gonna blow people's minds. So we're waiting for our Indiegogo campaign. I think today's the last day. So we're waiting for the time to run out because I'm not trying to beat a timer. You know, I'm not trying to be like, oh, help us raise our money within a certain amount of time. I'm not doing that. The Indiegogo is just to help us with post production. So if you like the movie, go buy a DVD from the Indiegogo. You know, you'll get a free T-shirt with it too, and it helps us to press the DVDs. We do have distributors on standby, but this is just to kind of build enticement and get people aware of the movie in a very small way. I'm not like hoping that the Indiegogo makes a bunch of money or
Right.
anything. I just really am using this as a format to surprise people. As soon as we're like officially in pre-production, as soon as our funding comes in next week, when we're officially in pre-production, I will be able to go public with the cast, and I promise you that I know everyone's gonna want to see this movie because I wrote it from a nightmare, and I can't say what it's about. I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, okay, okay.
I wrote it 10 years ago, and it is very similar to Skate to Hell. Without the skateboarding, without like all that stuff, it's
Right,
in the similar like horror comedy style, you know.
right.
So because of Skate to Hell, I was like, man, I wrote my script 10 years ago, and I had actually tried to get one of the actors that's in Skate to Hell in my script, and unsuccessfully, right? But after working with them, they said, "Man, that movie you sent me a while back, you still doing that movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, you remembered that?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, actually, I'm gonna be able
Sweet.
to fund it myself finally," you know. So they all signed on. We start production October, November this year, depending on when all of our advanced financing is finished.
Right.
Uh, but like I said, if you are a producer watching this right now and you want a movie package that is worth your time, get at me and I will share it with you. And I promise you, I am not bluffing. It makes me so happy. It's not my first movie. I've done a lot of no budget indies with like some great actors. I've had the voice of Scooby Doo was in my last film. The guy who played the Wolfman in the Paramore Brick by Boring Brick music video.
Nice.
They led my last film, and one of the stars of Twisted Metal. Brent Henry, he's an amazing guy. Josh Carpenter is the lead actor, and Scott Innes is the voice of Scooby Doo. We made an amazing movie, all in one location, all with a phone, and we debuted that movie, and everyone who watched it, 250 people showed up to watch it. Not one bad review across the board. Every single person loved the movie, and it was kind of surprising because I mean we made this on our phone with just me, my wife, and a couple actors, and people loved it. We didn't have a crew, we didn't have a budget, we had nothing. We just did it on a phone, and people loved it. So we're releasing that movie very soon, and we're probably gonna release it for like $3.99, and you can download it on Amazon and YouTube and stuff like that. But it'll help us with, also helping us fund Death Cab. The name of the movie that we're working on now is called Death Cab, and it's about a man named Foster who hails a mysterious taxi cab, and when he gets in the taxi cab, the driver asks him to tell her what he's been running from, like what's so scary, what's got him worried. She's like, "Oh, we got a long way before we get to your destination. Why don't you tell me your story?" And that opens up the whole movie.
Oh, man.
But I'll say that it is wild. It is funny. It is crazy. It is so crazy. And once I release the cast and people get to see who's in it, they're gonna. I'm willing to bet that this movie is gonna be a movie people are waiting to see before we even get on set.
Yeah, and then of course, I mean, this is something that you've been holding on to. I mean, obviously, right? You've had it for a few years, man. So, dude, and I actually saved that image. That's pretty funny, but I ended up saving this because I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to ask you about that because Death Cab. I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, "Oh man, I got the whole taxi cab confession thing going," and I'm thinking, man, I wonder. Let me ask him what it's about. So obviously, I mean, it's just about confessing, your worst fear. You kind of tell the driver, and then you go from there.
Yeah, I mean, the slogan is, "Do you wish you could forget the worst night of your life?" So that's like the tagline. And so I'm excited because 10 years ago I wrote the movie, and the first person, I can say this because he's signed on already. He's been signed on for a while. But the first person that joined the cast was Chad Rook. And I saw him in iZombie. I loved him in iZombie, so I invited him to our table read. I flew him out to the table read, and he loved the script, and he said, "Count me in." And then our director of photography is a very, very well-known director, like insanely well-known director, probably one of the best directors in the world right now, like one of the hottest directors that people are like seeking after as well. And I asked him 10 years ago, I said, "Hey, you like the script? We ate dinner." He's like, "Man, count me in." He gave me a letter of intent. He's like, "Count me in. I'm interested. Let's do this." And you'd think that both of them would be plenty enough to like make the movie happen, and then my name on it as well. But for 10 years, it kept getting locked up. Producers would take it and go, "This is worth $3 million," and I'm like, wow, I have stars in my eyes. I can't believe you're gonna put that much money into my script, But then they get it locked up, and they never sell the film. So they made me a bunch of promises they couldn't keep. One producer had like 10 movies with Eric Roberts, right? So I knew he made movies. I knew he got budgets. I knew he had money, and I could trust that. But he wanted me to be his gopher. He wanted me to run around. I went to Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage is like, "No, I don't do anything for less than $2 million. I went to this person. That person's like, "No, this sounds like too much money." I'm like, "Too much?" Yeah. What? So I finally, then we had Pedro Pascal. And I was like, "Oh, man, we could get Pedro Pascal to be the lead actor on this," because his a good friend of his is on our production team and wants to get him on this and said he's interested and likes the story. And the producers were like, "We don't know who Pedro Pascal is." Because it was before Narcos had gotten Emmys and reviews. It was still on TV on its second season, I think, or something. But he didn't know who Pedro Pascal was. And I was like, "Dude, I can't do this anymore." I was like, "You guys are passing up every good opportunity, and you won't listen to any casting, choices that we recommend." So I dropped, and then one of our actors became a producer, and she did a movie with Stephen Dorff? Stephen? I can't say his name now. I feel bad. But the brother from Boondock Saints, the one the one that isn't from The Walking Dead. But she did a movie with him, Stephen Dorff, I think, and she killed it, dude. She killed it in that movie. So she's a great producer, but she also took it and tried to get it produced, had it optioned out with other films, and those films didn't get picked up, so ours didn't get picked up, and I had to wait for years until I could get my own movie back. And once our contract ran up and I could get my own movie back, I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do it myself."
Damn, man.
Now that
that's crazy
yeah,
that
well, I mean, yeah.
they get locked up, man.
Thank you.
But that's but yeah, you see, and that's one thing I didn't know, because obviously, like, when you give it to producers or you put it out there, I mean, they hold on to it. So I mean, this is like a contractual agreement. I mean, how does that work?
You can't do anything with your own film, pretty much. It was like, he said, "Look, we want you to be a lead actor in this movie we're doing." if we get that movie funded, we'll also fund your movie as well. So I signed the contract. I said, sounds good. It was my only option. I thought, and at the time I was working really hard. I had a day job and I was acting, and acting hadn't paid off yet. I hadn't gotten the luck, found my niche. That's what I think my agent and me finally found like a flow, to the point where we look for auditions that we know they're looking for me, it's one thing to want to always be like the star of the show. I'd love to have more lead roles. That is the goal, to have like a lot, like be like the next, like Paul Rudd or somebody, have comedy and action, awesome dramatic acting all packaged up. That's what I want. That's the goal. But I'm not picky, like if somebody has a great film with a really good cast and they want to bring me in for a few scenes, but they're memorable and they're not just like walking on going, hey, how you doing? And walking away so you forget me. If it's memorable and I can use it in my demo reel, then hell yeah, sign me up, because those are the roles that when the movie sells well, they pay you.
Right.
So, and because of that, now I can pay for my own movie.
No, I mean, I was going to say that too, because obviously, I mean, if you say no to movies like that or projects like that, I mean, you're saying no to money. So,
yeah, and you're also producers who may never have known you. So, like an example, if I do a movie with like Steven Spielberg, right? And Steven Spielberg gets me in there, and I'm like, hey, have you heard the news today? No, what's the news? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you better watch out. It's only like 3 lines, but it's 3 lines with Steven Spielberg, And if you do a great job, and you do a great job on set, and you don't annoy people on set, they're going to remember you. So the next time there's a big audition and Steven Spielberg's looking for somebody, you might think that already,
No, yeah, man, for sure. Because I mean, like you mentioned earlier, when you guys did the sci-fi movie and you guys kind of made it stand out. I mean, that's pretty much what you want to do, right? You want to be able to stand out no matter what.
Exactly. And if we wouldn't have done that, Netflix wouldn't have never taken it. If they would have booked the leads of that movie, Netflix wouldn't have picked it up.
It would have gone straight to DVD, man.
It went to sci-fi for so long and never did come to DVD. It went to DVD on Walmart for like a month. Yeah, and then it was sold out on Amazon, so I couldn't get a copy. But
damn! Wow. No, bro. And of course, man. When are you gonna be posting as far as for the campaign? Like, you still want to go to post production for Death Cab?
Death Cab's Indiegogo campaign is up right now. I have a link on my Facebook, and you can also just search Death Cab horror comedy, I think, or thriller comedy, or something like that. Just search Death Cab Joseph Poliquin on Indiegogo or any of that. There's one person who also had a movie that they tried to call Death Cab like 13 years ago on Indiegogo, but it never got funded, and it looks really, really fishy. Like, it looks really fishy. So I was almost at the point of like changing the name of the movie. And then people were like, there's a band called Death Cab for Cutie. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. We need to get them in the movie. I was like,
oh, damn. Dude, now, did you get him in the movie? I mean, are you working on that?
Approached them a lot. They have not answered. But I mean, they're a very famous band, so I figured that, But once we're in more middle of pre-production, and we have our music director is going to be bringing in financing for music licensing, then we will approach their agents and their managers and see if they think it's worth it. I think they're going to think it's worth it, though.
Oh, yeah, especially with the big names, dude. Like you mentioned, it's going to be a lot of good people on there.
And I haven't even told you the names yet, but I promise you, they're recognizable. And that's the weirdest thing. It's like I wrote this script, and whenever I first did it, the producers working on it were asking me to do the lead. And I told them, I was like, my name's not big enough for me to do the lead on this movie yet. So we were looking for other actors. And then I was going to direct it myself. But then I found a better director. And the director of photography that I have is just he's a legend. He's a legendary. That whenever I turned in my package to these actors, they all said yes before I'd even paid them. They all said yes. They were like, man, we love the script. We love the team. Count us in. And now I look at the poster, and I haven't posted the full poster online anywhere yet. So no one has seen the cast list or the crew on there yet. But whenever I think about it, whenever I look at this poster, it keeps me going, man, because it's like, wow, this. And I packaged this. Like, no one else did it for me. I went out and I fucking, pardon French, I don't know if I can curse.
No, you're good.
I went out and I packaged it myself. When people told me that, you good luck getting your movie made, I said, I'll just do it myself. And I contacted the people myself. I like collaborated with people. You know, I changed some of the characters' names. I'm not gonna say that. I'll tell you guys later. You're gonna know later. But one of the actors came in, and every movie he ever does, he plays the same character name. He asks them to name his character the same character in every movie he does. And he asked me, he said, "Would you change the character's name to this name?" And I was like, "For you? Yeah, sure. What? Yeah, name's not that important. Yeah, sure." And he's like, "You change the name to fit my character that I want? Count me in. I'm doing it." And because he joined the cast, this man is an angel. He's a saint. He's a god. He's a king. He's amazing, dude. He's an amazing. And for him to be on this cast with us, this is bulletproof. Like this is gonna be people's favorite movie one day.
Nice, man. And let me ask you, because of course it gets you excited, man, because obviously this is a movie that you would want to see yourself, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, when I wrote it 10 years ago, it was all right. But after 10 years of adding to it, every once in a while going, "Oh my God, this would be a good scene. Oh my God, that'd be a better ending. Oh my God, that'd be amazing." And now the movie's just like, I've added 10 years of writing into it. You know, I thought, oh, I finished the script in 10 days. You know, like it was a nightmare. Finish the script. I finished the whole script in 10 days, but it took 10 years to get where it is now. It took 10 years because I still wrote another scene into the movie 2 weeks ago.
Damn, man. So you're still adding to it. I mean, is it the final, or are you still tweaking it?
No. Even when we're on set, we're gonna be on set, and I know about 5 or 6 scenes that we're probably going to either like change the location, add more to it, or something like that. Because every movie I've done, when we did Project Power, have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know how they twist the pill before they take them to get the superpowers. So when I grab the pill out of the book sack and pull it out, that's the first time anyone holds the pill after that intro scene. Like, that's the first person that finds the pill. So they hadn't filmed anything with the pills in the movie yet, and they didn't know they were going to twist it to activate it. They had no idea. So we were supposed to take the pill and just take it out, and it's already supposed to be shining and everything.
Yeah.
But producers were like, "There's not enough action there. There needs to be something where it's not ready and you activate the pill before you take it." So the guy that's in the scene with me, the guy that plays the character in the scene with me, I pulled the pill out of the book sack, and they said cut, and they were talking about it right before he took it. He goes, "What if I twist it?" And just from him saying that, twist the pill, they put that in there. MGK twist the pill, Jamie Foxx twist the pill, Joseph Gordon-Levitt twist the pill. So it was like right there in our scene, they invented that like mechanic to the whole movie. So I think if you close your mind and you're like, "Oh no, we have to do everything by the script. It has to be exactly like the script," it won't be as good as it could be, you know?
No, and that's true, because one of your quotes, man, and I thought I had written it on here, but when you talk about when you're filming, I mean, you're bringing the character to life. So if the character's thinking one, or you're the character, so if you're thinking one way, you're gonna say, "Okay, well, you know what? This is what I would do. I would look this way. I wouldn't look that way." And of course, you're gonna change it, or you're gonna react to how you would react normally. So that's pretty. I mean, that's cool, man. I like that, because it does happen. I mean, there's a lot of like, I guess I would call them happy accidents, that just when you're filming, people say something and they're like, "Dude, that's freaking brilliant. We're gonna keep it in the movie," and there it is, man.
Dude. Like happy accidents is a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Nice, bro. Well, man, I'm excited, bro. I mean, I had seen that on your page, but I had no idea that was your film. I didn't know that you were the writer. So I'm definitely gonna look into that and then and promote, man. I mean, hell, dude, like I said, I mean, I do wish you the best, bro, because you got a lot going on.
Thank you. And like I said, if you're a producer out there, if you want to put $50 into a movie, if you want to put $100 into a movie, every dime that a producer puts into this movie, they will get a percentage of our profits, because you're not allowed to just open like investments up to people. But when you're making a movie, I'm opening jobs to people. So you come in as a producer, you're not just putting money in our movie, you're getting a job. So, like, for instance, somebody put in a couple thousand and they became our art director, right? So now they are invested in the movie, and when we make profit, they make percentages on top of the profit, and they also get to help us out with the art. So they get to say, "Hey, I got this artist, and we should hire him, and we should do this. Oh, I don't like that drawing. I like this drawing. Oh, I like that storyboard." They actually have to have a job, because now that they're working on it and it is partly their film, they can invest whatever they want into it. So it's a little loophole, and it's been helping me out. It's been letting us be able to have first monies in, so that we can pay our cast before our full funding comes in, so we can get them on before the full funding comes in. Because I figured when the full funding comes in, if I'm wasting time waiting for that funding to come in before I start booking my cast, they might get too busy. They might be busy at the end of the year, you know. So by me putting in first monies in and letting them know, look, you're getting paid for doing nothing. You're getting paid just to say, hey, movie, because I don't want to lose your dates, you know. And then but it's just, it helps us. So now what we're looking for is producers to help us with booking studio time, constructing the sets. We're looking for locations. We're looking for camera operators and assistant cameramen, assistant directors, PAs, anybody who wants to work on a film who's never been on a film set but has $100, $200 in their pocket. Come join us. You know, it's internally funded, and it's almost like that Legion M website.
Yeah.
You know, where you can fund films, except for you get to actually work on them. You don't just fund them and watch them happen, you know?
Dude, I like that, man, because it's true, and I've thought about that because a lot of the Indiegogos, yeah, I can put $100 and hey, I'm a producer. I don't even know what the hell that is. You know, I wouldn't know how to explain it to people because I'm not there. But the fact that people are going to contribute and actually invest and get their monies back. I mean, whether it's experience, I mean, like you said, once you start making money yourself. So that's freaking brilliant, dude. I like that, bro.
So most producers don't, like, not every producer gets percentage of profits, you know? Producers, some producers don't even put money in, they just help make the movie. So if you're a financial producer, you put money in, the movie couldn't have been made without you. Some people still don't get profits from that sometimes, but in my film, I felt like if you're putting, for every $1,000 that somebody puts into my film, I want them to get 1% of the profits, because the film costs $100,000 to make, and I'm putting a lot of my own money in there. So it's not like I'm gonna be throwing away all of my profits. You know, I'm not gonna be just throwing away all my percent, but I have a lot of points for people. So if they want to come onto our production, they throw in $1,000, they get a percent of profits, and they get a job on the set. So I think, and I mean, even if you're an actor, if you want to be an actor, you can do that too. But I'm not like all these other Indiegogos. You can't just like throw money at us and just be on set acting. You can be a producer. You can like film yourself at home, and we'll put it in some of the scenes, or you can take pictures and we'll put those in the scenes. You know. But if you want to be like an actor in scenes with the main cast and stuff, you have to audition. So what we're doing there is like on our Indiegogo, we have walk-on roles, and you can, I think it's like $300 or something, $200, and you can get a walk-on role, and you can come in and you might have lines, you might just come in and say something or do something cool or have like a guest scene or something like that. But if you want to have a profound role in the film and you've acted before and you don't just want, this isn't your first time, and you have a couple grand to put into the film, you're going to get one of the best auditions. You're going to be the first to know about auditions, not only in this film, but in every film we do. Because any producer that comes into Death Cab with us is signing on as a producer for Rice Paper Films and Aetherverse Media, my two media companies. Yeah. So next time you wouldn't even have to throw in any funds, because Death Cab will be successful. We'll all come up together, and if you want to throw in any funding, you're probably going to want to make your own movies. You're going to want to go through us. You're going to want to do it with us, and that's the plan.
No, man. What I mean, dude. I mean, that's exciting because I mean, it's like basically you're doing it all. I mean, why not, right? I mean, like you said, we only got one life here on Earth, so why not take things into your own hand, and make things happen, man. So that's pretty cool, man. I like it, bro. I mean, that's something that it makes sense because, of course, if I'm throwing money at somebody or just kind of like, hey, I want to do this, why not get something more than just your money taken, right? I mean, you want to participate and actually get in there, man. It's cool. I like it, man.
A lot of those Indiegogos, I know that they have a lot of money to spend on the movie, and they also can't guarantee the movie's going to make profit, so they don't promise that back, Yeah. But I let them know, look, we might not make profit, but if we do, and you're the one that helped us fund it, why would I not give you a few points? And not to mention some of those producers, like those movies will cost more than $100,000. They'll cost like $200,000, so it doesn't add up. They can't give you a percentage for every $1,000, and then you're spending like $5,000 in a movie, and you're getting like 0.005%. So it's like with ours, we got lucky. Ours is 100,000 to 100%. So it's every 1,000 cooperates. But however, we have producers coming in giving $5,000 and they're getting 5%. So in the back end, if our film does really well, they never have to work again, just off of a $5,000 investment. So
dude,
yeah, I think that.
I'm gonna start going to my piggy bank right now, man. I'm in, brother. Sounds great, man. But bro, man, I mean, I'm gonna be on the lookout. I'm gonna be, of course, I do follow you, so I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that. I'm gonna jump on the Indiegogo and see promote that as well. But I want to thank you, man. Thank you for jumping on this, bro. It definitely meant a lot for me, to me, for you to jump on and be able to chat it up a little bit.
It means a lot to me too, man. Anybody who wants to interview me, it means a lot. It fills my heart.
No, for sure, man. And I'm gonna be in touch, bro. So of course, I mean, I would love to bring you back on here, maybe after you guys get some work done, and we can talk a little bit more about it. But I do thank you, man. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
I don't know. Go watch Skate to Hell. Go watch the trailer if you haven't. Go watch Five Nights at Freddy's, and then hit me up and let me know what you thought, and help us make Death Cab.
There you go, my man. Don't hang up yet, brother. Everybody out there, of course. Once again, this is sPidA Coming Soon podcast. Thank you very much. Make sure to follow the guy, Death Cab. Check it out. Till next time, follow up.